game is now underway. Doesn't look like we're going to get a really aggressive start from Rage.Quit. Could be still wrong here. A fairly standard start coming out from Oops, as I totally wrong. Rage.Quit is going pretty aggressive towards the 8 line.
A strong lineup by Oops this time. I would say they have everyone they want in a team. Algo doing a standard top hill spot in attack, and just a really slow opening by Oops, checking out who is where on the map.
I've been pretty impressed with Algo's play so far. I mean, he's been doing pretty well for them, doesn't get caught out that much, and it's going to be crucial to stay alive here. Why are you 251 on Himmelserv though? I feel like usually 1390 is the better pick.
1390 is probably a better spotter, but RU is faster one, so I guess they just went for speed because damage-wise, it's not that important anyways. It's just what kind of spot will you do and how will you maneuver on the map, and I would say Ru has an advantage there.
Now,
Plus he has those annoying heat shells.
Yeah. Now Spoink is moving back towards the hill, and a lot of tanks from Oops are now grouping up on that K line. The most aggressive push coming out from there. Now Halu and Grem are still ready to receive this, and unlike Utopia, they don't have a lot of batch rats to rush that, so not sure if this is going to work out really well for Oops. Now Spoink's also moving onto the hill, and if any of them drives down the 0 line, sorry, there's going to be 4 guys waiting for them.
Well, Halu and Gremek are alone, and they are spotted here. But Spoink and Algo are alone on the hill, so they will probably try to occupy attention of the remainder of the team, and then these guys, the 5 of them, should push on a Halu. Halu is kind of completely alone here, and he has actually no, it's a big gun. It looked like, because of the texture, it actually looked like the small one.
So now with the big gun, the play for Oops here could be to sneak through that 5 line though. I don't think Cactus is spotting that. If Mainland and Silence decide to cross the courtyard, there's nobody going to be there to cover Cactus. I don't think Halu will get there on time, and could be a free pickup.
Both Cactus and Halu can be a free pickup as it looks like so far, but we will see, does Oops realize that? Can they make an opening out of it, because they do not really know where are the other tanks.
I feel like Spoink and maybe Algo should just pounce onto Cactus and take him down, maybe with the help of 1113. Just gonna be careful now. Very slow start coming out from Oops.
Yeah, there's quite unusual, because we noticed in last game, maybe because not the normal lineup was there, they played really kind of hectic, trying to rush every game. That didn't really pay off. The games they played more tactical actually paid out quite better.
Now Silence is pushing forward. He will find the info that the 5 line is pretty much open, does get spotted and spots both 50Bs in return, so good spot there for Silence,
nice
and a nice bounce. And Cactus, now Spoink getting a sneaky shell in there, and the 8 line push starting to get underway here for Oops, and Cactus is now going to spot this one, so has to be careful here.
So they chose to actually converge on tanks that are in the city and ignore Gemek and Halu. Algo is spotting that, so if he approaches a bit more, he will even see them and maybe shoot them in the back.
Spoink here in that battle, trying to find an angle.
Well,
Nice shell onto Seba.
Nice Ponky. They did call him the mountain goat of the team.
Well, it's more like a castle where he's at now, but
he's a mountain giraffe, actually, if you look more like it.
He likes to be high up in the air like a real giraffe. Cactus and Silence now just trading some shells here, but a lot of tanks from Rage.Quit are stuck in that C7 position.
So far, Oops is taking the battlefield for themselves, slowly but surely. The question at hand is, will they actually manage to monetize it? So far, Rage.Quit has these 2 guys completely separated from the rest of the team.
There's the push though.
This will be their downfall. They're too far split.
Now,
and Oops is already there.
Mailand, Camille picking first, trading shell for shell here. Mailand is the next one. Seba taking a lot. Camille taking a lot in return, but the engagement is still going to go in favor of Oops here, as now Camille drops low, but number 1 skill is out of ammo, and him and Cactus are dead in the water here, as Cactus is the only one. Urwitz, Grem, Pure, and Halu just rotating, and Oops finding the opening, taking the opening now. Spoink coming from behind, and that's going to be 3 tank lead already for Oops. Even though the HP is pretty close here, there might be something Rage.Quit is able to do, but still, Halu in that E100 is going to get harassed by Algo the entire time.
It's 7 guns to 4 now. Oops saw a fantastic opening there and took it immediately with the entire team. You saw even the Insane in the first line of his push. It's a good place for field commander. But now this is just a mop-up operation because Rage.Quit is outpositioned completely from all sides.
Rage.Quit getting completely outthought, outplayed, outsmarted here by Oops as Gremlin goes down, and it's just Urwis and Halu left in at E100, and Algo even from behind being very annoying towards that E100. Maybe might land another shell here, but still, that's going to be all she wrote for Rage.Quit in this first round, as it does look like Oops, slow and steady, wins the race. Halu in that E100, 7 guys alive from Oops. Not much to be done in this one.
If we recap the previous games of Rage.Quit, maybe the fast plays actually fit them more because then they have to control less of a battlefield. It doesn't look to me like they know how this works at the moment because they were here split not in 2 groups but 3. 3 separate groups that gave any kind of opening to Oops they chose.
That's going to be it. That's going to be Oops picking up the first round here. Positioning from Rage.Quit, can't fully agree with that at E100. Very far away from the battlefield.
Not only him, T10 covering him, then you had 2 more guys on the middle covering the 5 live, and there's 3 guys. It's like 3 separate teams. Any of them was vulnerable for themselves. Oops, just had to choose where to push.
Silence went across the courtyard like we suggested, spotted those 50Bs. Oops kind of figured out with Spoink that there was nobody else there, and then just pounced on those 3 guys.
Yeah, that was an easy game for Oops. They saw a weakness, they pressed it, and they won it.
Now, Rage.Quit, we were talking about it, their favorite style is the aggressive style, and this didn't really work out.
Rage.Quit, honestly, here just dug themselves like ostrich in the sand, you know, they stuck their head in the sand and nothing's gonna happen bad if I don't see anything. This literally looked like that because they were not covering. The only guy who was actually trying to spot something was Cactus, and once he was pushed back, they even didn't see the push.
Didn't see the push coming. This might have worked if they had Waffentraggers, for example, but with 50Bs, only 4 shells against 5 guys from Oops, that didn't really work out.
I don't know, would even Waffen work here because he would be first focused out. Seba fell in like 2 seconds.
Let's take a look at the stats from that round, though. I'm trying to remember who's on my fantasy team.
Oh, let me guess. Your fantasy team, Mayland?
I don't think so.
Did you sell out your body? Because I know you have it. You had it last week. You're such a sellout.
I think I sold it. I have Cactus and Puro in this one.
Yeah, I have Cactus too. But you sold Mayland.
I mean, I took smart business decisions, which I probably shouldn't have done, as Mayland is a top damage here, but the story writes itself. The first 5 spots, 4 guys from Oops. The first 7 spots, 5 guys from Oops. I mean...
Not much to be said here, honestly.
Not much to be said
Even
here.
Algo in light tank did more than these tier 10s.
Algo in that light tank, harassing that E100 like we said, and then pure skill. There go my points. Not good.
Not good, bro.
Not good. Now, Rage.Quit, I mean, now on the attacking side, now they can go really aggressive.
Well, also, Oops is going always really aggressive playing, so we might actually see a clash somewhere in the middle of the map.
So look at some of the highlights here. We could see the pounds. Yes, Camille took a lot of damage in return here, but the overmatch was so strong for Oops that once the #1 skills was on reload, it was pretty much done for, and the HP was still kind of even after that. But when you lose 3 tanks, you lose 3 guns, and the HP just gets more and more in favor of Oops.
So far, we saw all the mistakes that Rage.Quit done. We already said there was no spotting, there was no coverage by the majority of the team, nothing to be said more about here. In attack, they can at least choose where to be and not split so much far apart. I guess those YOLO tactics they played is kind of their mentality, stick together, team and go.
Now, Rage.Quit, we talked about with Utopia how they weren't used to being down. Rage.Quit already came back from a 3-0, so 1-0 is no biggie for them.
Maybe this is just another throw for Oops this time.
Getting some extra fantasy points.
Yeah, you guys, you can have a few rounds because we're so good, so we're just gonna smack you later.
I think that would be the greatest things to do for Rage.Quit, but still, we have to talk about how we expected them to be a lot lower down the rankings by now
we
already.
didn't expect them to have a single point by now, so you guys are doing excellent, brilliant job.
Which is, like we said, super important for phase 1. They only need to pick up 6 more points, but let's see our lineups here coming into the second round. It's going to be Himmelsorf, Rage.Quit's going to be on the attacking side, and Gorilla coming out again.
Watching too many Utopia matches with less budgets.
The 350Bs, The IS-4 coming
And
in there as
1-1-3.
well.
Quite a weird lineup, I
Oops is
guess.
fairly standard. I mean, the E5 will go on A5.
Honestly, this looks like something they will attempt a rail push with this and try to stick the 3090 behind the house.
But why
cover it with grill.
the IS-4 is not quick enough for a rail push? Unless they decide to push him first, obviously.
Yes,
Unless
but
they wait and push him first
they
because
can
he had
also
HP.
leave him a little back and he can angle and just cover. He doesn't have to go there because that's why they have 350Bs. But maybe I'm completely wrong and they will play something completely else.
They might be able to catch Oops. We have already seen Rage.Quit do a rails push, but it does seem like our game is ready. So let's get it underway here. The second round between these two. Oops currently 1-0 up. Let's see what Rage.Quit decides to
Honestly,
do.
Oops has too many fast tanks. They cannot really push the rail.
But we've already
No way.
seen Rage.Quit push the rails before, and
Yeah, but Oops has so many fast tanks, they will
it's
annihilate
an
them.
8-line push. A slow one at that.
Well, they're just waiting for info from Pure Skill to say who is where. And Algo is doing the same for Oops. Like, this is kind of a standard spot, guys. Usually you can even climb up, but you don't have to. You can do it from here.
And I guess he does it from there because he kind of has vision on the 8-line as well.
Yeah, and he can run away easy without getting spotting from the top.
Now,
By now they know there is no one.
There
going
is a
down.
big trap here from Rage.Quit. 350Bs, Urwis, Halu, and Seba are waiting for anybody of Oops to come there and show themselves. As Algo dicks the shell here. Very aggressive.
Well, Algo, you found them, but that was kind of
That
a
is
risky
not
one.
good. If anybody just drives into the G7 window, he pretty much kills him for free.
Yeah.
But look at the rotation from Oops Mojo. 3 guys across the K-line and the trap is still in full effect.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they cannot really drive to G7 because that would be a free gift for Oops at this moment. But Oops is actually coming really hard on them. The lucky thing for
they got
Oops is that
spotted.
they don't know it.
Halu got spotted. Halu, both of them got spotted actually. Only Urwis is not spotted, so the trap not working out anymore at this point. I don't know how they got spotted. Like, why? Why do you make a trap and get spotted? Not good. Now Algo drove back into his safe corner. Is 250 HP.
Good old Cactus doing damage for our fantasy teams.
Now Pure Skill will start the gap, and it's only Prokhorovka really in position there. Very strange start from Oops, having pretty much 6 tanks in the south, and Rage.Quit, if they realize this, could be pretty bad here.
And Oops has only 1 tank hiding there in A5. I guess he's not even trying to peek, but he is sitting there as an anchor. I would say that's probably Prokhorovka in his E5. That's the only logical tank you would leave on E5.
E5.
A5. So we have a majority of Oops now behind Rage.Quit. We've seen them play these risky tactics before, rotating from down. Honestly, they barely survived it last time.
These rotations, though, are exactly when Rage.Quit put all their 50Bs back on the hill. We have the 2-way attack pretty much from Oops, trying to catch them, and little do they know, there is nobody here from Rage.Quit. So
3, 2, 1, peek. Oops, there is no one.
but the spot, though, Melon gets spotted, Spoin gets spotted, and now this has been a very weird round so far, but still, Rage.Quit in a good
You know what's
position.
even more weird? Because Rage.Quit is not even attempting to boost the cap with more guys. It's still only 1.
Oh, but look at Spoink there. Sneaky little spot over the rubble pile. Spots Pure Skill in that 1390, and there's really nobody covering the D line. It's
And
very
Pure
weird
Skill
start.
actually had to run away because he knows he can be shot now from his back. This game is weirder, getting weirder by a second.
Yet so far, Prokhorovka still hasn't shown his position, so Rage.Quit doesn't know about this. Now Kamil gets spotted as well, and we're back to the beginning of the round, pretty much.
This is like, after all these rotations, we have Algo, who took 2 shots, and we have entire Rage.Quit playing like they just came down from the hill.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, Pure Skill has to be careful here. He's moving towards that A line. Prokhorovka never showed himself, so this could be pretty bad for that 3090. As Prokhorovka should be able to pick
They
him up
actually
pretty
have
easily.
no clue he's there. No clue whatsoever, and that will be their downfall in this moment because they cannot really do anything to him when he picks out to DK Pure Skill.
Yeah, you can just sit in a, like, there's a little gap where you can shoot through in the D5. If you look at it, you see the corner, that pillar, there's a gap in between there. He's going to angle himself towards it, and he can reset from there without even getting pretty much shown. So, yeah, that's not going to work out for Pure
Or
Skill.
he will do it just the peasant way.
Oh, he shot between the gap.
Oh, there you go.
And now Pure Skill has to get off the gap, as Prokhorovka has a really good angle on him, and now Rage.Quit has to make a rotation. But what are they going to do?
They're trying to shoot him from the hill, Halu, but that's kind of almost impossible target unless you have something like an FVTD. That one doesn't really have to aim much. That would be an interesting game. Every 20 plus seconds, one shell.
But the
Knocking him out to
FETD
death.
can shoot over from C0. He can actually hit that position and blind shot him. But he won't pen. Now, Oops is in a fairly strong position here. Algo is spotting K line. Spoink is spotting the JH line. And now a lot of rotations coming out from Rage.Quit. Those 50Bs now going back over the hill.
Well, not much choice there. They know they've been outplayed on that cap, but there is 4.5 minutes left. This is the last rotation they can do. They left some forces down there, as you can see, and they will try to flank the 8 line and commit. Well, that's the only play they have at the moment.
Now they are taking the smart route around. The only good thing they have so far is that Algo is a one-shot, so Pure Skill decides to chase him. If they actually hugged the side, they would not get spotted. If they hug the side of the K line on their side, Algo can't
Which is
spot
exactly
them.
what they're doing now.
Now this rotation so far is unspotted. Now Algo does spot Pure Skill.
But not anyone else.
Not anybody else, but Oops should know that there has to be somebody behind this. And the very worrying part here is for Cactus and Gremic. As soon as Urvis, Halu, and those 50Bs get spotted, which they still haven't, so a lot of failed spots coming out so far from Oops. They have no idea how many tanks from Rage.Quit are actually there. And this could work wonders pretty much for Rage.Quit.
Spoink finally managed to spot one more guy. Actually not, it was Algo spotting him. But there should be some commitment now on the 8 line.
Now Seba gets spotted as well, and this is going to be the push coming out from Oops. Insane, Melan, Feaster, Camille, as Pure Skill does pick up Algo, are going to push forward towards Gremic and Cactus, and there has to be a quick rotation from Rage.Quit as they're going to lose these 2 tanks before anything else even happens. Perkusha does take a big shell from that Gorilla, but those 2 tanks from Rage.Quit are pretty much dead in the water as the entire push from Oops is coming out, and the ammo rack onto Cactus, goodbye, full HP. Now Gremic on the IS-4 is the next one. Melan does get shot in the back, full clip coming out from that 50B, but Gremic will go down here in return. 2 tanks down now.
Okay. It looks like Rage.Quit actually has to now commit. But Rage.Quit is now actually 1k HP in advantage here, so Oops is in a problem, though they're defending.
Now Melan, Halu here, pretty bad peek coming out. Now Camille is pushing forward once to that last shot, and he does. Now Feaster Fatsack also coming forward. Should be able to take down Halu, but great shells coming out from Urvis covering his way. Camille going down to 1 HP. Very lucky to survive that.
What
as
an
Feaster
RNG
does
is
pick
there
him
for
up.
him.
Now Seba comes around. #1 skills does actually pick up Camille here. Seba trying to do what he can, but he's pretty much pushing into a crossfire here as Feaster, Fatsack, and Spoink should be able to pick him up. Spoink, can he get it? No. Survives. Oh, lucky bounce there. And still,
But there is
it is
2
doable.
minutes. There is 2 minutes here, and #1 skills is in a problem now here because he is the only guy on top of the hill, far away from his
Nice
mates.
shell,
Yes,
though.
he is fast. Yeah, but he now has to connect the shell and take at least 1 guy down. Seba is on 1 shot, and he is really crucial for them. And Urvis is the only guy who is actually in position to do anything about this game. Melan should feel it any second now because Urvis must connect, take him out, and then press on the other guys immediately.
Nice shell
using
from
the
Feaster. And a nice shell from #1 skills, actually dropping Feaster to 532. Urvis could be the difference in this. Spoink is pretty much locked down. #1 skills position isn't the greatest indeed, but the way that Oops are set up right now, Spoink and Perkusha can't really do anything. Nice shells from Spoink though, bringing #1 skills down a little bit more. Now Feaster taking a shell as well.
But Feaster survived. That's a crucial moment because he just needs to run around the corner and ignore everything, hide behind Percussion. There will be no capping actually here now. Will skills actually manage? No, he didn't.
Now Feaster should be quick enough.
Split
Ooh.
second by the split of the hair.
He needs to reload at this point. And I was informed there should be a small timer bug, as we said before, so the round won't end at 0-0 if the both teams are still playing. Urvis now should be able to pick up Spoink. I mean, Urvis should be able to pick up Feaster, and #1 skill should be coming down of the cap, but there still shouldn't be any time to cap this base, I think.
No, I really think there is none, and especially since #1 skill is still up on a hill, so he has to commit now full speed on them. This is actually a chase game now. This is not about capping tactics. This is about are you there on time? And I think that TD on the hill wasted too much of that time.
Urwis, can he pick up Feaster? Should be able to. Has 4 shells ready now, but
He's kind of scared, too much scared at the moment, because they have nothing to lose, absolutely. Spoink is the real problem for them, because Percusia, they might find and kill him, but Spoink, no way. He's too far away.
as we were saying, there is a small timer box. So yes, time run down to 0-0, but there is time left. It doesn't look like there'll be enough anyways. So Oops will be picking it up. That's why time, if it runs down to 0-0, it's a small bug here, but it should be running out any seconds here, and that will be it. Oops should be picking up their second round here, as there shouldn't be any time. And there it is. Time runs out now, and that is going to be the round for Oops. We apologize for the timer bug. It's something out of our control. We can't really do anything about it.
It really looked dire in one moment for Oops. The HP dropped significantly, but they managed to pull through and they rotated better, made some crucial
Very
cross
close
shots.
though.
Also, I believe that #1 skills, yeah, it was nice. He was doing nice shots from the hill, but there is a moment when you need to decide and abandon that position, and he was hesitating hardcore.
He couldn't leave the position at the first point you mentioned it, because if he did, Seba would be dead and Melan would survive.
No, not then. The
But after,
moment that
yes.
50B started chasing those guys, he was still sitting there for at least 30 seconds or more.
He should have gone south in reality. If Urwis,
Yes.
because Urwis could clip all 3 of them with 1 clip pretty much. I think
Not
give
at
or,
one clip,
Yeah, but
but
1 and
at
a
least
half.
he would leave him one-on-one.
I mean, if he killed Feaster, he would have
Yes.
enough shells to kill both. But then he should have gone south and started chasing them from
Again,
that
we
side.
are going against a lack of experience, coordination for Oops. I would say this is too tight game for their wanting. Also, this is a really risky approach by them, going with that much from down.
mean,
Some teams
bad
that have
spots
the
as well.
better reads would already check the Percusiat position. Is there someone there? He was alone.
Bad spots coming out from Oops as well when the rotation came out from Rage.Quit. Not spotting those 50Bs at all up until... I feel like the 50Bs made a mistake crossing over there. They were unspotted. If they just drove into the 8 line, they could have completely destroyed Oops from behind.
This is a kind of a one-time tactic by Oops, and I don't think they should repeat this again, because it's going to bounce on them heavily next time. This is something they can pull off once now, and they had kind of luck with it. But in the future, any better team will just check the spot where Percusiat was and cap.
I mean,
Before they are even in position to approach.
you can look at some of the highlights here from that last round. This was our #1 skills, picked up Algo. But as I was saying, these 2 tanks here, Cactus, rip, rip pretty much.
And Melan was actually really lucky to survive there, because he just got tracked with 1 shot. Otherwise, he would be dead a while ago. And that would actually probably bring defeat to his team, because at one moment he was holding off that side on his own. So I would say a lucky break for Oops.
But also that rotation from Oops, they spotted those 50Bs, which I don't agree that they should have been spotted. We can take a look at the stats at the same time here. Those 50Bs in the trap shouldn't have been spotted.
Never.
And
I don't know why
that
they
rotation.
why were they even trying to spot them themselves? That's
Not
nonsense.
sure.
They're heavy
But then the
tanks.
rotation from Oops. See, Urwis, the #1 skills, doing a lot of damage. Not surprising, they stayed alive for a long time. Same with Camille, Feaster, insane. But then, what I was saying, the rotation from Oops was so slow. They pushed six tanks there to try and catch 50Bs. Rage.Quit, I mean,
That
they might be
left a while
inexperienced.
ago.
They might be inexperienced, but if a team knows that if you get spotted there, you need to get the heck out. So I don't agree with the rotation from Oops. It's very predictable, very readable, and it wasted them so much time. But if they did know, well, I mean, if they spotted more guys, then they could have just overrun the North Cap easily.
Yes, as you said, like the defense of Oops was
It won't
filled
work
with
against a better
mistakes,
team.
and Rage.Quit just didn't know how to utilize it. The next map they are going to play, the Ghost Town, that will be a tricky one, because both teams actually played it in both match days. So they have pretty fair idea what was another doing.
As long as Rage.Quit does not bring 5-1-1-3s and 2-9 bad shots, I'm okay.
Maybe they will push another spot, surprise.
Remember when they brought 5-1-1-3s? That didn't really work out for them.
It was a nice, well, they had 50Bs also in the next one.
Let's take a look
5
at the
of them.
lineups, though. Yeah, there are 550Bs, I remember. Take a look at the lineups here, what we got. Oops bringing only 3 50Bs, and Rage.Quit 3 50Bs, 57, FP215B, T10s. I mean, maybe a little bit of lack of tankiness, like more FE215B or 113 that can
I
take
guess
some more
Oops
shells.
is quite scared of their push, so they took a lot of clippers to defend themselves, though they're attacking. But also Oops was playing also really offensive. If you remember on Ghost Town against Kneckebrod, they found a weak spot and pushed immediately with all 7 techs. We actually picked that for one of the top 5. And well, I'm interested more to see how will Rage.Quit utilize these T10s in defense, honestly, because they need to be a bait somewhere for these clippers to work.
I'm not a great fan of the T10 in defense. I mean, it works great on offense because you can just put them on the cap and push with it, but on defense,
Maybe less 50Bs and more budgets of tier 9.
yeah.
That would be kind of more balanced setup
I mean,
here.
like, I prefer a lineup which has like 2 50Bs, maybe 3, and then FE215B, maybe 1113, and 239 bad shots. But it does seem like our game is ready. Is Oops gonna extend the lead, or is Rage.Quit going to pull in Utopia? Let's find out as we move into Ghost Town. See here already, very offensive push from Rage.Quit. This is the Rage.Quit we know, going very aggressive across the D and E line mojo, or pretending to go very aggressive. We're waiting for Oops.
Well, Rage.Quit is in defense here and they are sticking together team, so they are not really allowing Oops to do any kind of opening as they had against Kneckebrod. But so far, pretty slow approach by Oops because they are probably scared by some weird push by Rage.Quit, which is actually coming here in
very
play.
heavy pincer coming out from Rage.Quit from 2 sides. Those 50Bs from Melan and Feaster now seem to be the first one taking a lot of damage. They know they need to get out of there, backing around that corner, already taking a lot of damage, and Rage.Quit here managing to catch Oops off guard pretty much, as now Prokhorovka taking a lot of damage. Halu gets traded in return. Spoin coming from behind in that batch are doing a lot, and the push still continues from Rage.Quit from the other side at the same time. We can just look at the HP. This is not looking good for Oops. Prokhorovka goes low. Now Insane needs to make a play, and Feaster and Melan in those 50Bs can't even pretty much kill Urwiz.
There is a big problem for Oops here because they abandon completely by hiding any kind of top ground here. Myland is in reload.
And so is
also
Feaster.
Feaster. Those are their main damage dealers for this game, and they will fall any second now. Now, guys, you never want to give an enemy team a top position above you because this is what happens. They're in cooldown, they're shooting you from superior positions, and you can barely even pen them.
This is the Rage.Quit we know. This is the Rage.Quit we've seen before. They're very aggressive, very offensive style coming out. Completely surprising Oops. They should have been ready for this. That 2-prone attack, Insane and Camille on the downside couldn't do anything to help their 50B buddies, as Camille and Melan just had to back off and take the damage to the faces. Now Gremic picks up Camille. It's just Algo and Spoink.
That's it. Rage.Quit was actually trolling us on Himmelsdorf. They just gave them 2 games.
Well, they decided 2 is going to be enough.
2
for
is
Oops.
enough for Oops. Okay, they will take them seriously enough.
Now, I do not like this split from Oops. That was very split.
Honestly, it looks like they were totally undecided what actually to do. They pushed some spot with a light tank, they pushed some tanks there, but they were actually not into it, and they were completely surprised when Rage.Quit pushed from 2 sides and just started clipping them from superior position.
Rage.Quit's push was really well done. That the T57 came through the F line, controlled those 2 heavies, did get clipped by Spoink, but his threat was enough for them not to play aggressive against the 50Bs. Melan Camille came across,
and Spoink had to spend the entire clip on him and run away.
and now it's just Spoink as he bounces a shell from Urwiz. Actually, might be able to pick him up here as he bounces the shell off and should be going down here any second. Just waiting for his teammate. Spoink going to.
I was expecting he will drive over the house.
I mean,
like
if you drive,
guys.
if you drive over the house, as Urwiz does pick
other
him up,
guys shot the house for him.
that's it. Now Rage.Quit going 2-1. About that house thingy though, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the trick is if you're behind a house and you're the one to drive over the house and knock it down, you can actually kill the guy before he can shoot you, because you can auto aim on him, and as soon as you knock down the house, because you can time it better than he can, right?
Yeah, but if it's one of those annoying houses that has like
Yeah, but you can.
like
it's
a
very
step
hard.
and you get up a little,
Yeah,
then you can't really
it's
shoot
very
him.
hard for the guy behind the house that's not destroying it to time it when the house is getting destroyed. That's why you have the advantage.
But it's even better
But
when your
that's-
teammates destroy the house and you just shoot.
All right, let's recap that round. So, very aggressive push coming out from Rage.Quit. Those 50Bs pushing straight across, and then Meland and Camille, they were on the other corner first, which where they would have been
Fitter
safe.
and Meland were completely caught off there. They had to pull back, abandon the rest of the constant shooters in their team.
They couldn't peek
They,
anymore.
they just gave entire battlefield for free, more
So
or less.
those 50 Bs were on a good corner before, where they would be able to cover the other street. Instead, they crossed over. Those 350 Bs wrecked them completely. They had to come around the corner, couldn't peek anymore. And then the two-way attack from Rage.Quit with all the HP up ahead.
Well, let's see how it looked a bit on stats-wise.
You can see here, number one skills. Those 50 Bs paying dividend here.
They're spitting a lot of damage there. The only guy that actually did something from Oops is Insane in his FV Heavy because he has a quick DPM. So before they
And
took
they
him
weren't
down,
focusing him.
yeah, he was in cooldown, so they were shooting the Clippers behind. He had time to do some damage, but after that he was pretty much alone.
I don't like the split from Oops. They pretty much, like, as soon as the one-way push came from the D-line, they ran away towards the 50 Bs, which they couldn't peek on because they were too afraid, because they didn't have the right hold-on tanks for that. They needed to expose too much. And then their 50 Bs got wrecked in return because they couldn't help them. And then the push came from behind and nobody was able to do anything versus it. And then we could even say Urwis in his T10 pushed those two 50 Bs. They couldn't even finish him. They didn't have the shells left.
Well, in bottom 7, 5 are Oops. What say more?
Not good from Oops. Very split. I mean, the only real way to beat a push like that is to stay together as a push and as a unit, as a group, making sure you have lines of fire, crossfire, not getting wrecked completely.
Well, we will see how will they fare in defense because Rage.Quit actually has to come up with a tactic now how to beat them. If they stick together and not give up positions like this, it's gonna be hard. But Oops already got kept one on Ghost Town, so you never know about their rotations. And they definitely gave the same opening here on Himmelsdorf. Rage.Quit just didn't know how to take it.
The style from Rage.Quit, if you split like Oops, I mean, Oops was fairly splitted. There was a tank here, tank there, tank there.
Yep.
Very, very splitted, trying to cover all bases pretty much.
I don't see it very cool way to play against team like Rage.Quit, honestly.
You need to stay together as a unit, as a group, against somebody that's going to push, because that's the only way to beat it. But let's move to the next round. Let's take a look for the lineups. Mojo already took a sneak peek, and remember what I said about
Voila! What a deja vu!
Remember what I said about 5-1-1-3s?
Well, they have a hidden plan how to use them in defense.
Oh, I hope it was better. Well, they're attacking now.
Rage.Quit?
Yes,
Oh yeah, they're
it's just
attacking.
defended.
They were actually using that
Yes,
in
they
attack
were,
last time.
and it didn't work out at all against the Wild Bunch.
Oh snap.
That's what I say. I don't want to see those 5-1-1-3s and double 29 batch shot again.
Well, I doubt they will bother with cap, especially since Whoops has an E100 that can decapitate HE and angle there. But, oh my god, we're gonna see some serious YOLO now.
Well, Oops already got capped, so I think they're going to be putting a lot more attention towards that one cap.
Yeah, they have a Rue and E100 that can deal with that. I don't know, will they even try the rotation here? This is a really defensive setup with a lot of Clippers.
Does look like our game is ready, so let's get into it. It's Oops versus Rage.Quit. Oops currently up 2-1. Now, Oops is going to be on the defensive side, and a lot more attention towards that one cap, like we predicted, and a lot of attention, everybody from Rage.Quit pretty much moving towards that one cap.
Everybody, oh my god. So, full push by Rage.Quit on that side. 2 tier 9s coming in really aggressive now. Are they trying to catch off something? Or they're going for a cap.
But those houses can be destroyed though, so...
But we've seen this tactic play by Oops. They were putting the 2 bachas there. Do you remember that? And then they converged everyone in a push. And that's exactly what they're doing there. They took some attention, then 1-1-3s are pushing in and bachas will follow.
The E100 didn't plan his shell, and now those 2-9 bachas are going to push for Insane, but he has a lot of cover here, and not sure if this is going to work out
They're
really
going for
well.
mainland, but Clippers will be in their flank. This will not end well for Rage.Quit unless they really destroy this T100 right here and now. Number 1 skills lost all his HP. Wow.
Number 1 skills is down. Gremic now goes down as well. Those 3-9 bachas not working out as pure skill drops low, and it does look like Oops finally found an answer of what to do. As Duck of that goes down here, but those 1-1-3s, they're just getting dragged around the corner. They need to keep pushing, but Oops doing it very well. Those 50 Bs just getting the heck out of there. Yes, Feaster is getting focused, but Melan and Camille just dragging them out even more. Feaster goes down here, but if you just look at the HP, it's so in favor of Oops at this point. Those tier 9 bachas pretty much getting thrown away for Rage.Quit.
Well, Rage.Quit is still pushing and still shooting and still going, but definitely Oops has an advantage now because their clips will be soon in and they will start destroying them. Definitely a way to throw off Rage.Quit, put a big fat tank in front. While he's getting killed, you shoot everyone.
Those tier 9 bat shots though, why rush A4? But now Cactus trying to do what he can. Gonna play hold down against those 50Bs who now have to come around again. And it might be that pure skill is gonna be the target here. As soon as Milan comes around this corner, just be careful here. I mean, they haven't won the round yet, but with Algo flanking from behind, it's not much to be done for Oops.
Well, Oops doesn't have to do anything, honestly, here, because they are in lead in every aspect, and Algo will be very annoying if this game persists, because he will be in their back. But the game will not prolong that much, because they have Seba on practically no health. Only guy with health worth mentioning is Cactus.
Now Milan and Kamil seem to be going for Halu and Seba there, as Kamil lets off a few shells here. Should be able to pick up Halu, one more shell left. Kamil, nice peek, picks up Seba. Milan picks up Halu, and it's just going to be Cactus left in that 1-1-3. And Oops, a good response here coming out, Mojo.
Come on, Cactus, do 1 or 2 more shells before you die.
Please, fantasy points, nice.
Yes,
get another one.
One more is okay. Let him live, boys.
Ram him. But as we said, it's going to be Cactus. Realistically, nothing to be done in this one as he lands one more shell, but Spoiting coming off reload here will make quick work of him. As there he goes. Now, Oops, picking up the third round and Rage.Quit. We've seen this before. We've seen those tier 9 bat shots trying to push a guy in A4, and it has not worked a single time. And Oops can cover him, can cover Insane completely. Those 50Bs were just waiting for that.
I believe when they saw kind of a game that the pick that they were making, the Rage.Quit, they come, oh, this is deja vu. We might have seen this on stream. It's kind of hard to forget. Looking 5-1-1-3s pushing in a straight line somewhere. They just chose a different line, as we said.
I feel like if those tier 9 bat shots just came from behind, if they did the 2-prone attack, they pushed the 1-1-3s in first on the Johannes. The tier 9 bat shots come from behind, but delayed. It could have worked.
Yes, it probably would work better, but it's question would it work, because Oops was actually hanging with all their clippers far in the back and waiting to see an info where are the 1-1-3s and what's going on. So that T100 even managed to miss a shell and then run away behind 2 corners before they caught up to it. And those tier 9 budgets were kind of over-eager to engage, lost entire HP for nothing there. Not very best use for them, but they will have to train it up. Ghost Town is total blunder for them. So we will see how they fare in the next map.
That's what Oops did really well though, dragging them around the corners, those 1-1-3s.
It's kind of a logical play if you play against single Maiden setup like that, something like Kazan should have done on Grand Finals against EL Gaming, but they didn't. These guys did, and that's it. You do not win in YOLO setups unless actually the other guys give you that opportunity.
I feel like if they just didn't YOLO Insane with those tier 9 bat shots, this round could have been completely different. Because
if they just pushed with 7 together in that street with those bat shots clipping in,
or at least keep the tier 9 bat shots to clip anybody coming around the corner. They could have picked up at least
there
150B.
was many better options, but when you're playing a simpleton tactics like that, I guess the playout is not expected to be that much better.
I really, really don't like when tier 9 bat shots are used like that. They're great tanks, but few times on Ghost Town so far, we've seen them be sent in really bad positions for them. But let's take a look at stats. We can see there that Spoink, why don't I have him on my fantasy team? But Cactus though, 3K.
Cactus doing is nice, but Spoink was doing well, very well actually for Oops until those 2 last games where he saw him do the 0 damage because he died first. That's probably why you don't have in your team. You remember those.
Mayland in their 50B, but Kamil, no real surprise as they stayed alive for a long time for their team. It's what happens when a push like this.
Again found the angles to snipe with this.
Algo has been doing really well in the last few matches, last week as well. Putting out the damage on that tier 8, more than Feaster, more than Insane. Duck of Dead only got 1 shell off, and we can see the real issue. Number 1 skills, Gremek, tier 9 Batchas, and Urwis and pure skill.
Completely, more or less useless. Not a very good game for Rage.Quit. Quite lost now. They are already 3-1 down, right? Is that the score?
It is 3-1, Mojo. Good job, you've been paying attention.
Yay! It's getting hard to count in old age, you know?
Oh, I didn't say anything. I mean, you're pretty old, but...
Yeah. Well, youngsters like you. What can you do?
Youngsters?
Yeah. Kids, more like.
Wow, okay. That was a low blow.
You'll grow up one day, mate. I mean, not his size, in maturity. You can't grow anymore like
That
this.
was the first good joke I've heard you thrown in the 2 months we've been here.
I've been waiting for you, mate.
But now moving into our next map, it's going to be Prokhorovka. It is a map that...
It's a map that actually Oops plays very well. We've seen them last time do quite some rotations and mind plays. They've been really dominant in that fashion because they read the enemy movements nicely. And Rage.Quit, well, they've been setting up the traps of their own. We've seen them play it against TW, but honestly, that was just the inexperience of TW Gaming.
Let's take a look what we got for our lineups, though. Coming in here into our 5th round, and we can see Oops. Not a real surprise there, as they are going to be defending the E5, the STB. Those are used for decaps, and Rage.Quit. 3 bad shots, well, 5 bad shots if you count in the tier 9s, and 2 TVPs.
Quite a fast lineup by Rage.Quit is kind of expected from them, but 2 TVPs.
We both don't like TVPs on Prokhorovka because there's a lot of sniping involved, and TVP is not really.
I mean, they had
working
really a lucky break. The last time they played Prokhorovka, one of them survived on 500 HP and won them the game, but I still call it a lucky break compared to what happened there.
It does look like our game is ready. Can Oops bring it to match point, or is Rage.Quit going to come back? Let's find out as we move into Prokhorovka.
Prokhorovka, one of the first maps in the game. Teams start at the regular spawn points as they do in standard battles. Bases are separated from each other by the railway, so the defending team has to choose whether to send their vehicles to the left side, playing them in the centre, or to the right of the railway, occupying the hill and a part of the village. The attacking team usually attacks the first base. However, the teams often go for face-to-face confrontations, 7-on-7, in the hilly terrain at the centre. That's why both teams frequently use vehicles with good gun depression angles and sturdy turrets.
There we go. We can see Oops. Fairly standard start here. Spreading out a little bit, sending the E5 towards the middle, and then Silence to A6. Spoink has a spawning run, and Rage.Quit going super aggressive on that eastern side. We've seen them do this exact same strategy before. Mojo.
This is kind of a YOLO-ish tactics that one would expect from EL Gaming usually. This is kind of stuff they would pull off. This is uber aggressive attack. If you have split off forces there with a lot of clippers, it might work. I never liked it, but Oops is not taking any bites here. They're just spotting around and waiting to see where Rage.Quit actually is before they do any kind of commitment.
Silence there in the STB has to be careful as the entirety of Rage.Quit is now on that eastern side. Number 1 skills does get spotted here, so does Silence. Silence trying to line up the shell, doesn't manage to hit it. STB not known for its accuracy.
Well, we still haven't seen the thing we would like to see in some match, like the YOLO push over the rail, but not over the normal crosses. Maybe this game when Oops counterattacks in one moment. But the cap is not an issue here because 2 cap, if you trigger it, there is so many ways to reset it that they're not even worth counting. Now most of the Oops guys are actually converging down, maybe expecting some kind of push from Rage.Quit, but Rage.Quit also knows to commit YOLO on one side, so I don't know, maybe leaving Silence here alone is not that smart decision.
Rage.Quit here trying to clear out the A8 position. Where
Don't try Cactus, please.
For the point.
Yes.
But now, Rage.Quit, what is their final move? They don't know that most of the Oops was in the 1-2 line, who are now starting to rotate, so the more time goes by, the worse it's starting to look for Rage.Quit, as the entirety for Oops will be ready to receive that push.
Well, Algo is spotting out the south for Oops, so he is keeping that flank here. So far, not much going on, honestly. A bit of spotting and no damage done. No exchanges.
Rage.Quit going fairly aggressive at the start now, slowing it down a little bit. It looks like Urwis and friends moving on to that capture circle, but Prokhorovka should have an okay day against it. Now 3 guys on the cap, and maybe a push over onto Silence.
As we said, there is so many ways to reset this, but they will challenge Silence, it looks like now, but he's already covered by Spoink and mainland. It will be a heavy price to pay if they actually go for him.
Yeah, Halu tried that and took 1 shell already. Now Silence has okay angles onto the cap. As long as he gets spots, he will be able to reset. And this cannot be the final play for Rage.Quit, as they're slowly but surely getting surrounded. You can also see Algo moving into that zero line, and the push comes out here. It does look like pure skill. Urwis want to go for Percussia, but Insane and Kamil will be ready for that one as well, as now Gremek is the first one to take a lot of damage, already dropping to a one-shot.
Oh, he's getting annihilated there because they're already greeted and waited for. Oops, he has a pretty decent split left and right, how to cover the angles, but there is another push coming from another side.
Yeah, at the same time, Silence goes down though, and Insane taking a lot of damage here, but Urwis on Drilo now has to run. Spoin goes down, Melan goes down, and actually this is starting to look good for Rage.Quit, who now have the HP advantage. Halu trying to land some shells here on the side of that E5, who is very slow.
They must catch Urvis before he runs away, or this is a lost round 100%, because if he has another angle to shoot on them, they're dead as a dodo.
Now Urvis has the clip and he knows he's going to die, trying to land every single shot onto Percussia, managing to land 3 so far.
Percussia didn't even pen him. That's something you really don't want to do with a heavy tank like that.
Now this is starting to look really bad for Oops. Cactus and #1 skill still have a lot of HP. And if we take a look at the Oops lineup, we can see Algo. We talked about this before, that RU251 having a lot of HP here, a lot of useless HP in effect, because as soon as he has to fight with those bad shots, it's not going to end well.
And his counterpart, #1 skills, 100% HP, is a tier 9 budget with a much bigger gun. Yeah, that's not a cool place to be on the place of Oops now. Luckily for them, they're defending, so they actually don't have to commit. But Rage.Quit actually read their defense really nicely, and they sacrificed a lot of tanks, but they are on a winning hand so far.
Even Insane and Kamil, who were the guys in that middle part, taking a lot of damage when they push for Percussia. And then Percussia taking a lot of damage as well from Urwis in that TVP, who smartly realized he was dead anyways, and then decided to do his full clip. Now, the issue for Oops is going to be Percussia is very low HP. He's the only one that can really peek over and reset that cap.
Oh, and even a bigger issue is a trap. We have a trap, guys.
It's a small trap here. Halu, 595 HP. If he sits in a bush, Algo wouldn't be able to spot him, but
the thing is, he will not spot Algo, but that means that they will not know anyone is there until the last moment, and then he can just clip on anyone.
Really depends how carefully Algo is going to clear everything here. If he just decides to drive up to A0, he won't spot Halu. Now, this could be pretty vital here. If Halu manages to survive this, even if they lose him, they still have the advantage.
Well, we've been praising Algo a lot. Let's see how will he actually do now.
He's now starting to move forwards. He gets spotted by Halu here. Halu missing the first shell. Halu already missed the first shell here. Bounces the second. So not that great from Halu so far, but who are they going to send to deal with him? Because he's a two-shot no matter what.
Only one who can actually go and start the fight is Algo, and other have to just find an angle. And Algo has a certain cooldown he can use here. But the pressure will be on the cap because #1 skills is there, and they will probably come with at least another guy.
But Seba picks up Percussion in the meantime, and while Algo is fighting with Halu, Insane does find Seba in return, so good shells from him, and Halu missing another shell here. He can't kill Algo anymore, as he's missed too many shells. He's missed 3 so far.
But there is 10 seconds to the end of the cap. Is there anyone in Oops that can even decap?
It has to be Insane, but Insane is on 202 HP. He has to come over. He's spotted.
2 seconds.
1 second. 0 seconds left on the cap. The reset though, but it goes down to 4 seconds again, and Kamil won't be in position, and it is going to be Rage.Quit that picks up their second round here. 3-2 Mojo. 3-2.
Is another shocker coming in?
No, that was Rage.Quit. Good target prioritization, and nice. We just see the strength of the tier 9 bad shot. It adds so much clip potential to them. Yes, they lost a lot of HP in that middle part, but that northern part completely dominated. They killed Silence in the single shooter and then cleaned up the bad shots around there as well. Even though they lost the middle engagement, they won the north.
Yes, also what helped is I would say Oops was a bit too split here. They also were lacking several shells, and everyone turned to watch the north, the middle, when the commitment started, and they did not actually pay attention to the bad shots down because they didn't spot them. Whenever STB was peeking to shoot, he didn't see them because they were hiding down in water. So when the push started, they had a really good plan there. Now, they just popped up and wrecked him and continued to those bad shots who didn't have the shells anymore.
We were criticizing on how Ghost Town, they were not close enough to each other. Now on Prokhorovka, I feel they were too close to each other. If they want to play it like they did, they want to send Percussion and Silence to take the damage if they rush, right? You cannot have all your other batch shots sitting 100 meters behind there and Rage.Quit just change their focus fire and kill your batch shots who don't reload because they have more clippers, they have more damage output, they have more burst. Now I feel if you want to play like that, Silence could reset easily, right? You need to create distance between you and Percussion and you and Silence because now Melan goes on reload, goes down.
Let's see the stats, but I would say here, Oops is surprisingly completely outplayed, and tactically, though it seems simple, Rage.Quit is really doing well, and this was a smart play, a smart read even.
You can see Cactus there, 2.7k damage.
Yeah, my boy.
My boy. He gets me them fantasy points, yeah. Now, if we look at the top 7, only Insane and Percussion really landing their shells. So every single batch shot from Oops, all the other ones, Camille, Spoink, may land, not getting off 5 shells, which they have to. In this situation, they have to land every single shell. They cannot miss one or two
really
because of the damage output of Rage.Quit. They have so much more, so every shell Oops misses is so much more valuable than Rage.Quit's.
It's so depressing that light tank, single shooter light tank actually out-damaged 3 batches of their team. And single shooter, Silence, only shot that he connected, only shot was the DK one. Yeah. So that he didn't connect a thing in a fight.
Now, if those 3 batch shots from Oops, they have to land 5 out of 5. If they don't land 5 out of 5, we can see what kind of problem they get in.
Probably because they were sniping on a middle first when the push started, and they missed most of the shots, and they didn't have enough to play the fight on their own ground.
There's no excuse for missing 5.
There is no excuse for anything, but they did it.
You see, that was where the issue lies. Because of those tier 9 batch shots, that gives Rage.Quit 12 extra shells. 12. Well, and they already had more since the STB and the E5.
And comparing that they have 2 tier 9 batch shots, great addition. Well, nice play by Rage.Quit and brings the game back to them, so they're not far behind the Oops now, and they're on defensive side.
Now, I think Rage.Quit has been surprising a lot of people so far this season, doing a lot better than we suspected.
I would really like them to snatch some points here. That would be fun.
I mean, if they take 3 points here, for example, or 2 or even 1.
If they take any point here, it's a groundbreaking experience for them because they will be as high up as they can imagine.
And then they only need 5 points to make it through to phase 2.
Yes, and God knows will that amount of points even be needed because you have draws and a lot of math is needed, but it's too early in the season for that.
Well, I already took a sneak peek, but let's take a look at those lineups and oops!
Hola!
Russian power.
Okay. Talk about single-minded setup.
4 IS-7s, 2 tier 9 batches, and a TVP. 4 IS-7s. 4. Mojo, 4.
That awfully sounds like commitment on middle and wood sides. I know. Actually, with this, they can even cross the rail and go that way with
the
control.
issue is, if they do decide to go rails with that over that, they're pretty slow. I mean, they're not super fast, and if Rage.Quit's... Well, the good thing they have with the
it's
IS-7...
better to go over the rail with IS-7s than to go other side, because
they could hold the north and the middle with those IS-7s, and you know that IS-7 is going to bounce some shells from bad shots. He is 100% going to bounce some shells.
Yeah, he can bounce even a grill shells. I mean, it's a tough turret to crack.
I haven't seen this before. It's IS-7s. I'm really wondering what they decide to do with them. The other option they have is push 2 of them down the 1-2 line, hope they bounce a lot of shells, then follow up with the tier 9 batch shots. But let's see what Oops has in store for us, as we're now moving into our 6 rounds between these two. Oops currently still having the advantage though. Let's see what Oops decide to do. Pure skill here in the push. And Mojo, you were right. They are going rails with the IS-7s.
Yeah, that made kind of a sense, especially against Grill, because Grill cannot be really useful against them there. But Skills is actually going to position on a hill and try to get better angles.
This could work out really well though for #1 Skills. He won't be spotted. He's gonna have to shoot heat to him most likely if he wants to pen these IS-7s, but Rage.Quit so far just waiting in a kind of trap. And if those 3 guys on the 0 line don't waste all their ammo, those tier 9 batch shots from Oops won't be able to do much. Now, really surprising what Oops would do with IS-7s. They're slowly moving forward here. I don't know what to think of this yet, Mojo. I want to see what they decide to do with it. It could be genius, but it could also be really bad.
Well, it depends when will the other guys get spotted. Now, by now, Rage.Quit should guess that there are guys on a hill. Oops usually plays like that. But this kind of strong push really relies on heavily bouncing the shells. If they manage to do that, fine. They have a win. If they fail in that and they lose 1 or 2 I7s on that approach, this is going to be a really miserable game for them.
Want to see #1 skills land the shell here. So far, nothing.
Looks like they're trying to fade and actually cross and run away on another side. But Melee is spotted.
Now I wonder if he has draw range. He should have draw range pretty much from this point. And those I7s on the side should be able to pen them as he
just a track.
Just a track on top of that.
Who uses repair immediately. No risk taken.
Strength of the I7.
But they are crossing now, so they're on another side. They are abandoning the hill completely, leaving that under control of Algo. Alone. Completely alone. Well, we've seen
he's
him in
not
that role
completely.
before.
Silence and Duck are trying to cover as well.
Yeah, but that's one shell every 12 seconds, and not very accurate one at that.
Understand, not a very accurate one. Now, Oops trying to readjust with his I7s, but still, pure skill. If he spots this rotation, Algo is getting out of there smartly enough.
I think,
away.
honestly, Rage.Quit already played this defense, and they had pure skill in the same bush there.
They did.
And this is
Actually,
the blind play
I'm not
Oops
sure
now.
if he's in the same bush. He was in the one closer to the road before, I think.
He was on A5.
Yeah,
like
but
that
there's two bushes there. There's,
yeah, but
I mean,
potato.
it's still a little bit of a difference. I mean, it takes time to blind shot those, and they need to put at least 4 shells in
I
each
don't
bush.
think it's even about blind shooting. It's just about approaching positions and putting these I7s in cooldown on 1 cap now, while Rage.Quit doesn't have much to deal with that, honestly, because they have that one STB and 113, but they have to approach quite close to do that. And Oops withdrew all their tanks back, and there is still 4 I7s. That's a lot.
It's a lot of I7s. You can just see the HP in favor of Oops, no matter what, because of those I7s now. Rage.Quit is starting to rotate. Urwis in that STB has to be careful, because the I7s get on the cap. They can easily
Pure
peek.
skill, if he gets spotted, he's gonna get wrecked in a second there. And they should guess sooner or later where he is.
Now the question is, does Insane realize he's perma-spotted or not?
The question more important is when will they trigger the cap, because the time is ticking away and they need to do it sooner or later. They're blind shooting the bushes now, they're guessing there is someone there, but they don't know where exactly.
I think they're blind shooting the bush he was in beforehand, because he was more south in the last match we saw them play. Now they're trying to shoot the bush, that bush. Camille's still perma-spotted here, has to be careful.
It's a lot of fun when you play that and you fire 2 and you still have 4 shells.
They did hit pure skill. They did hit him.
Oh my
'cause his
god,
gun
I
got
hit him
damaged.
in a gun!
Because his gun got damaged.
That shell is bigger than that light tank and they hit him in a gun. Okay, some luck coming in there for Rage.Quit.
Now Insane on the cap here. Gonna have to see, but this gives a lot of rotating potential to Rage.Quit, honestly. I mean, so far so good for Rage.Quit. I haven't
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Pure
there they
skill is
go.
found.
And he goes down.
They
and
have no
nice
eyes
pickup.
anymore. They have no eyes anymore. And about rotation for Rage.Quit, I don't know about that. Honestly, this setup is not that fast. They have only 3 budgets there, and Oops can counter that easily. Other than that are weaker targets like 113, STB, and Grill, especially, who is not that meant for those kind of rotations.
Now,
Interesting position for Halo, but not very useful once the actual fight starts.
now Cactus is coming over. He's gonna have to deal with double I7 here, which isn't the easiest to deal
Yeah,
with.
Algo is spotting that. I wonder will he be able to run away on time, because he's spotting himself. Spoink is the only cover he has, but Spoink is far away, like really far away. But Cactus, look at the damage he's taking
Those
in the middle there.
I7s, and he's tracked as well. Camille Eater, now Insane and Melan are picking up, and Cactus goes down here to duck off that. Nice advantage for Oops. These I7s working
Ooh,
out.
they didn't see the grill, so he actually connected on Insane and really wrecked him hard.
But in the return, he takes 1,000 damage as well, and it's not looking good for Rage.Quit at this point, as Algo is running as fast as he can,
Oh my god,
trying to get out of
the
there.
pedaling there, like he's Speedy Gonzalez revived.
Now there's 4 i7s, 3 of them still have a lot of HP, and it's going to be very, very hard for Rage.Quit to deal with this.
Nice play there, not abandoning the position, keeping the track on that, and even shooting them through double bushes. They're completely outplayed here now.
This is not looking good for Rage.Quit at all, as Oops finally stabilize a little bit. And
all they need to do now is put one guy on cap again, and that should be insane because he has that gunner.
Number 1 skills, he gets spotted.
HP.
Camille lines up the shot, lands the first. Can he land the second? Oh, misses the shell. Still has a few more though. Lands it.
Oh, Amoregon track.
And there he goes. Number 1 skills goes down, and now they have four guys against those i7s. And oops, that i7 tactic working surprisingly well.
Well, against Rage.Quit it is definitely, but they're crossing on another cap again. Why? They hit, even this one would be perfectly fine.
Well, I mean, they can cap wherever they want at this point.
It doesn't really matter, yeah.
They're just gonna put 3 guys on the cap, get 3 i7s on the rails, and what is Rage.Quit going to do against it? I mean, they don't have the shells, they don't have the HP, they don't have the guns.
Look at them mean guys. Grr, grr. That's all they can do.
That was... if that is your mean impression, I mean...
It's cuddly mean impression, you know?
Oh, Mojo, please.
You can do it, come on.
That was you. But now, with 22 seconds left on the cap, 14 seconds now, Halu coming in, Urwi's coming in, Silence is holding the front line, lands a nice shell here, but with 6 seconds left on the cap, Gremek trying to move in, and it does look like Oops is going to be taking it up. 1 second left on the cap, 0 seconds left on the cap, and that's going to be it. Oops pick up their 4th victory here, now on match point, and Rage.Quit looked okay in the beginning of that round, looked worse towards the end of the middle of it, and looked horrible at the end.
But as we said already, Prokhorovka is more or less Oops map, but other than that really blunder in defense, this was much more meaningful play. Then again, I don't think this can work twice, not against other teams. This was prepared well.
I don't know. I don't know actually if it could work more than once.
Yeah, but mate, if you have a lot of lighter setup on another side, and if you start rotation, let's say example Algo, he did a really good runaway there against 3 guys. What will he do against 5?
Run even faster.
If some are already pre-aimed, not just driving, like exploring
I feel
the
like
map.
it could work again, because those 2 i7s on the cap are really strong. It could counter, for example, the e5.
You think it can count the duo of 1-1-3 and e5 defending that side in together, covered by 4 clippers?
Depends how great their shooting is, because that e5 also exposes a little bit every time he peaks. So maybe we're gonna have to see. The e5 might be hard to deal with. Let's take a look at stats though. That e5, we saw Mary before doing that, and it doesn't always work because you can get wrecked from the side. But Camille, 3k damage in that tier 9 bad shot.
Pretty much spread out damage all over the place, so Camille is the only one outstanding. Together with Insane, actually, with that gunner, 2.5k, nice.
Well, he managed to land some nice shells onto the 113 Cactus, who got double tracked there. I think he landed 1 or 2 onto him.
And he finished off that light. So yeah, that was okay damage too. But then again, he was in a game with a lot of clippers and he out-damaged them all.
And number 1 skills, only really 1 shell, Urwis.
Seba.
I feel like he should have done a lot more in the beginning of that game. Like when they were in the city, I feel like he should have hit at least 1 or 2 shells, because they were even sideways to him at one point.
Yeah, but there was a lot of buildings,
They destroyed most of them, Oops being,
yeah, but
at some point.
there was a lot of obstacles, and after that, Oops just faded and ran away.
Now, Oops being on match point, can Rage.Quit pull a...
I don't think
Another
so.
Utopia?
Honestly, Cliff is coming in, and I think Oops has this map under control.
Who's defending first?
Rage.Quit is defending.
There's a chance. I mean...
Yeah, but last Cliff they played was against Legend. Legend really picking weird setups, kind of.
E50 Emily's
Yes,
TV.
kind of strange plays. Also, we saw spectacular climbing skills from
Hello.
Halo 3 times in a row, and then other guys came. Okay, we're gonna do it, mate. Yeah. So yeah, like I don't know. Maybe
I
they
want a
practiced a lot,
tiebreaker.
but they didn't look that well on Cliff, though they won.
Let's take a look at the lineups we have here coming into our 7th round. Both teams fairly standard. Oops with double TVP though. Not a great fan of 2. 1, okay, 2.
So they have a Ru and 2 TVPs.
I'm not a fan of the Ru.
Yeah, they're gonna probably just fly him really offensively in a start, but 7 bot shots from Rage.Quit, that's a lot of push potential there.
It's a lot of clip, a lot of burst, a lot of HP as well.
I guess that's why they have 2 TVPs to try to counter that. Because they're the only times that they can actually stop them.
They're going to have to kill a lot of bad shots before they get close enough.
Yeah.
Because if those TVPs don't kill one of their bad shots, or at least 2, it's not going to end well. Because the rest of the team will die.
But let's see what approach will Oops have. Because a cautious one would be the best one for them. If they do some kind of split, like we've seen in the past Cliff, that Kneckebrut pulled off, that was really good game.
Can Oops close it out though, or is Rage.Quit going to come back? Let's find out as we move into Cliff. Can see here Rage.Quit on the defensive side.
Ooh,
It looks like
definitely chose no splitterino.
It looks like a full middle head-on as both teams now moving towards the middle. Mojo, I want to see them clash. I want to see them rumble.
Yeah, the only weakness now will be Algo actually, because he's a single shooter, and if unless he really outperforms a tier 9, this will be a loss, because this is a full yala yala.
And there we go, Rage.Quit just pushing straight over, but Urwis is the first one to go. Pure skill follows immediately after. Now the clipping potential is still there for Rage.Quit. They have still more shells. Insane only has 3 left. Melan and the TVP also not a lot left. Number 1 skills is the next one now. Insane is going to be falling here as well, and it's still doable for Rage.Quit at this point. They do pick up number 1 skills, but Camel Eater going low here as well. They need to finish off at least one more bad shot if they want to have a chance at winning this round, but seems like all the bad shots from Rage.Quit are on reload also, and this is where Algo starts to come into effect.
Brilliant focus fire by Oops in the start. They managed to drop off 2 clippers there, and now they have TVPs that are faster reloaders than bad shots, and Algo pumping them in the back, so that will be their demise, definitely.
Now Seba is taking a lot of damage to return, and Cactus as well, and it looks all but over for Rage.Quit in this one, as Meland and that TVP still alive, losing those 2 bad shots like we said in the beginning. Very, very bad for Rage.Quit now. Oops, 2k up, Spoing trying to do what he can. Melan almost off of reload, should be able to put a lot of
They're
shells
just
into
playing
Graham.
him and trying to take spread out damage, so he cannot focus the single guy. But Camille already picked Halu, and they're really falling apart now again.
Now Graham, even a wreck in front of him, goes down, 1.4k HP, and it looks all but over. Oops, superior brawling skills in the middle. It's just Seba and Cactus. Camille comes in, misses the first, but Algo in return, that tier 8 light picking it up. Now one more shell for Camille as he picks up Cactus, and that will be it. Oops,
Wow.
Oops picking up the match 5-2. And congratulations for brilliant focus fire in the beginning. That's exactly what they needed.
That was outstanding to see. Those 2 bad shots, tier 10 and tier 9, disappeared in a second. And that's what saved them the game.
We said it beforehand.